Alright, so this next fight is actually against the last elite before anything else that I haven't actually fought yet. This is Shade, really good friend of mine. She's a recurring gym leader elite. She's really good. She runs doubles grass in this case, so I'm bringing my Rain team, as always. I didn't actually know she was a doubles team until right beforehand, and Rain is not great against grass, but at the same time I do have a little bit of an ace up my sleeve that you'll see pretty early on, but not quite early on. So she's going to lead with the Ludicolo and the Superior, expecting my Rain, which is really, really smart of her. And I was just like, whatever, I just want my Rain. So Kogo and Pelipper is my lead. And obviously that means that this Ludicolo is going to be fast. And that's smart, and right out of the gate comes a Hydro Vortex from the Ludicolo. Looking probably to take out either my Coco or my Pelipper. I actually don't have my notes on hand right now, so I don't really know. But we're just going to roll with it. Hydro Vortex is going to come and target the Coco here to deal with that, because this Coco, I guess, is pretty threatening. I don't really know. So Coco doesn't get to do anything in this game, which is unfortunate. And Superior is going to get a Leaf Storm off right out of the gate. I do get to do a little bit in this first turn. I do set up a Tailwind, which is nice. It deals with the Ludicolo pretty well. So I send in my Volcarona next, and I'm glad that the Hydro Vortex came out on the Coco and not Volcarona. See, this Volcarona has Hurricane, and it's got Supersonic Sky Strike, as you'll see as we just go up into the air. And basically, like, I'm okay with using my Z-move here, because Ludicolo is a huge threat to my team. It abuses the Rain on the opposite end, and I really don't want to have to deal with it, so I'm just going to right through the Supersonic Sky Strike and just take it out, which is really good for me. That first turn was really good for her. This second turn is really good for me. So the Leaf Storm is going to come off again onto the Pelipper a second time, and it is going to knock out the Pelipper. And so this Superior is at +4 special attack, but at the same time, I'm not worried because I do have stuff that can handle it, namely that Volcarona. I send in my Scrafty here, just to get some Intimidates off on the event that she does send in Bulu, and sure enough, Bulu does come in, which is really good for me, because now, well, Superior gets attack boost, but Bulu gets an attack drop, which is really nice. And so I do have the thing, and so I just go right for a Fake Out onto the Serp, just so I can handle it, and I go for a Hurricane onto Bulu just in the event that he wants to do something to Scrafty, or a Stone Edge onto Volk. So Bulu is just going to go down right out of the gate, so I get another really nice turn for me. I only have one turn of Tailwind left, though, so I'm sort of eyeing that Superior and making sure that I can handle it when it comes out. So this Tangrowth here is going to come out now. I'm under the impression that it's probably Assault Vest. It's probably got a Rock Slide of some sort. So I just do what I can to take out the Superior as soon as I can and handle that. And this Scrafty is just going to go right for a knockoff to get rid of whatever item it might have, and it's Assault Vest, so whatever. So in comes the Rock Slide, which I kind of expected. I didn't want to risk it, and I knew that Volcarona was going to take a lot of damage, but I'm surprised that Volcarona lived, which is really, really good. So at this point, I can still fire off a Hurricane if I need, since Rain is going to be up for at least one more turn. Unfortunately, my Tailwind is gone, but that's not the end of the world. Breloom is going to come out here, and I was sort of fearing a Mach Punch, but I just go for a Hurricane. I go on the Tangrowth, which ended up being not enough to knock it out almost, and it goes for the Rock Tomb, misses on my Volcarona, and I was expecting a taunt, or a Spore from this Breloom, so, you know, and it's going to go for a knockoff onto my Scrafty. It hasn't touched my Scrafty yet, but it does remove a Figgy Berry. Had that Rock Tomb connected, though, on Volk, I guarantee this would have been a very different fight. And it's unfortunate that Rock Tomb did, in fact, miss. So I just go for a Hurricane, this time onto the Breloom, just to get damage as much as I can. And this is going to hold on with its Sash, which is okay for me, but it does get the Confusion. I don't think I hacks my opponent here. Yeah, it goes for the Rock Tomb, and this time it connects. So thus ends the reign of Volcarona in the rain. But that's okay, because it did so much damage. So Scrafty here is just going to go for a Drain Punch onto the Tangrowth to knock that out as well. And at this point, she's down to 2 Pokemon left. I think I have 3 or 4. I can't remember exactly how many I have left. I know I have Pert. I have Pert left, I have Pelipper, I have Scrafty, I have Ferrothorn. So I have 4 left. She's got her own Ferrothorn that is a bit of an issue. I only have 3. Sorry, my Pelipper's gone. So I just go for a Mega here. And since I am faster, I'm not worried about the Breloom at all, because I will live a Mach Punch. I go for an Ice Punch right onto the Breloom, actually, to just sort of take care of it. And then from there, it does go down really nicely. And then Scrafty's going to go for a Drain Punch here, and it does less than I hoped it would, which is a bit unfortunate, especially because Ferrothorn is so defensive, and it definitely has a way to recover and everything, especially because it then Leech Seeds my Scrafty. So at this point, I'm sort of like, okay, I need to take this out. This Ferrothorn can't do much to me outside of dealing with my Swampert, and I know for a fact as well that if we get into a Ferrothorn v Ferrothorn, she's not going to want to do that, I'm not going to want to do that, and it's going to be a pain. Grassy Terrain didn't end there, and the Ferrothorn does go for a Protect to stall things out, which is obviously the right call to do, even if it is a bit annoying. And unfortunately for me, I go for an Earthquake. I don't run Superpower on this one, I don't think, so I do hit my Scrafty, which is not good. I maybe should have thought that through a bit more, but at that point I was just like, I just need to kill this Ferrothorn. I just need to kill the Ferrothorn. Rain being gone doesn't matter much either, because I wasn't going to use Waterfall on it anyway. And I know for a fact that everything I have outspeeds this Ferrothorn. So it's going to go for another Protect. Yeah. So I go for Earthquake again. Knock out my own Pokemon. You know, all in a day's work. I was distracted. I had some things in mind. Not making too many excuses, but that's one of them. I got distracted there for a minute. Anyway, so I send in my own Ferrothorn, and at this point, it's one of those things where it's 2 against 1. She's going to try for a 3rd Protect. I get my Protect off, which is nice. And I go for an Earthquake, which will actually do enough to... The Ferrothorn will actually hit the Ferrothorn for once, and I'm hoping that it'll do a decent amount, and it kind of does, but it kind of also doesn't. It's also a crit, so it's really not good. And this Gyro Ball is also a crit, so it's really hard to gauge where I am exactly in this battle. But at that point, she just decides that it's going to be too much of a stall fight, and she doesn't want to fight that long because she has other challengers. So she gives me the win and does forfeit. So that is a win in my book, so yeah. Alright, so here's a cute little fight I had with my girlfriend. It's kind of a rival fight, if you will. She was playing Ultra Moon, and I had some Mons that I got early in Ultra Sun. She had 5, and so I only brought 5 in the end. So I'm challenged like Ken's. It's a cute little fight. It's fun. So I lead off with my Mudbray. Really, it was just to get her playing. She sent out her Picky Peck named 11. We actually got them auto-leveled down, so it was more like a rival fight. I switched out with my Mudbray here into my Mawile. This Mawile is a little strong, I have to admit. But she makes the right call and goes for the Rock Smash. It was a decent enough play. I do get my defense lowered, so, you know, in the end, I'd say it was pretty good. And then goes for the Growl. Unfortunately, my Hyper Cutter is going to prevent lowering attack, and I just go right for the Bite. It's going to do a lot to that little bird. But it's going to go for a Rock Smash again. Nothing wrong with trying to drop those defenses more and more, but this Mawile is very strong, to say the least. Yeah. So in comes Nancy. She named all of her Pokemon after the Stranger Things people, because we had been watching Stranger Things earlier that month. She actually switches out, though, and goes into Jonathan, the Inkay, which is not a bad call, but I just go for a Bite and, like, you know, just sort of do that. But it's okay. I switch out and go back to my Mudbray just to keep things a little interesting, so it's not just me clicking Bite all the time. And she's going to go right for the Reflect, which is a pretty smart call, all things considered, given that most of my team is physical Pokemon. So I'm going to go for the Mudslap here, and in hopes to lower its speed, actually accuracy, and I do. It just goes right for the Peck. But, you know, Mudbray is good, so... I'm just going to go for a Bulldoze here. That is going to knock out that AK. So, down it goes. Yeah, out comes Dustin, the Poplio, which is the right call, all things considered. And I actually stay in because I'm like, I'd probably take a hit. He goes for the Aqua Jet. which doesn't knock me out, so I just go for another bulldoze. And at this point, I'm hoping that the speed does drop, so I could technically go faster, but Aqua Jet is a thing, so it actually is going to knock out my Mudbray. So, good job, cats. I don't mean to sound patronizing here, but like, also, it's like, this is our first time playing Mons, and it's really great. So I send him my Fomantis, and I go for a growth. Fomantis isn't that good of a Pokemon, but hey, you know what? It's whatever. And she's going to go for the Disarming Voice, which is a really good call again, all things considered, though it doesn't do a ton. She actually does switch out here, which is a really good play on her part, and she sends in also Fear. Oh, yeah. So, in comes the Drowsy. Yeah, I'm going to just go for Razor Leaf, and I'm just going to knock out this Drowsy. It's a long story. So in comes Nancy, the Alolan Meowth. And at this point, it's going to go for a fake out. Good call. Good call. It was a crit, though, so... I'm level 15, she's a level 9. This is kind of just a fun little fight we had, and I actually get flinched, so that was kind of cool. But all things considered, this is just a fun little fight we had. Just to, take some breaks while I was waiting for a fight to happen. So down goes Nancy, and all that's left is Dustin, the Poplio. And, if you could get experience for this fight, I guarantee this thing will evolve into a Brion next turn, but whatever. So she just goes for the Aqua Jet here, and that's really, really good because my Fomantis does go down. It's probably the biggest threat to her team. And so I send in my Grimer here. And at this point, it goes for a she goes for a Disarming Voice, which is not a bad call, all things considered, because it does do neutral, but I go for the Poison Gas, and I'm just going to put this thing on a timer, and that's basically going to be the fight, more or less. It's a bit of a checkmate spot, but that doesn't stop her from, at least trying to win when she still can. So, obviously we're just going with the moves and Pokemon that we had in game. I used, again, Mons that I'd caught early in the game that I didn't actually use, because had I used the Pokemon that I had used on my team, it would have been a very fast fight. So Grimer does go down, so she's actually knocked out 3 of my Pokemon, so it's actually now like 2-1. But she isn't going to be able to deal with this backtracking, this rock and roll up. It does go for an Aqua Jet though, and it does do a significant amount. But I'm able to just go for a Headbutt and knock out the Poplio, netting a win. A win is, but is it really a win if it's against your girlfriend? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is we had fun, she had fun. Good game. Alright, rematch with the Ghost Elite. This time he actually chose my fighting team, so I get to go fighting against Ghost. Wonderful, wonderful matchup here. It's actually not the worst thing in the world, though, because I do have stuff that's better equipped to deal with this team. So, right out of the gate, he's going to lead with his Aegislash. You've already seen a lot of the sets that come out of this thing, and I've already seen them too, so I'm going to lead with my Cobalion, not the, this is Cobalion, like, what is Cobalt? Get it right. So I'm going to lead off with the Stellar Rock here, just to get up my rocks, for the sake of getting up rocks. And he's going to go for a Swords Dance here. And so I know that he can't actually do a ton to me, because he's not going to run, he doesn't run Sacred Sword on this. He runs Gyro Ball and Shadow Sneak, King Shield, and Sword Dance. So I just go for a Thunder Wave, because I know that I'm going to be just fine. I can live at least a +2 Gyro Ball. Of course, he goes for the +4, which does make things a little tricky. But you know what? That's okay, because guess what? I am not worried, because he's going to go for a King Shield here. And I'm going to go for a Taunt, which basically goes through his King Shield. So that's going to make it so that he can't do King Shield or Swords Dance anymore. And I can just go for Iron Heads here, just either flinch or just try to do something. I don't really want to switch out at all, because I risk dealing with whatever attack he's going to go. He's going for a Gyro Ball, though. I'm not terribly fast, but it does do quite a bit because I'm at +4, and it does, in fact, knock me out. So, Cobalion, whatever, it's gone. So I send in my Heracross here because I do run Earthquake, I do run Knockoff on this. He's going to go for a Shadow Sneak here. And I was like, oh crap, this is gonna be bad because, oh, he just slashes at +4, and I don't know what I can do, so I send in my Coma O, and this Coma O just goes for a flamethrower here because I do outspeed it. I probably shouldn't have sent in the other Mon, the Heracross when I did, but the Aegislash is going for the Gyro Ball, which did sort of save me. In comes the Mimikyu again. Because obviously Mimikyu is going to be able to do a lot to me. He expects me to switch, I know this. So I'm just going to go for a Poison Jab here because, frankly, like, I know how he plays smart, and he plays aggressive. So at this point, I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to go for a Swords Dance on here, it's okay. He doesn't go for a Swords Dance, though. I thought he was going to go for a Swords Dance, so my Como goes down. So I look like a bit of a dummy right now. But I send in my Terrakion here. And I know that I can deal with this thing. I know I can deal with this Mimikyu because I have Iron Head. And Iron Head is just going to do nice amounts to Mimikyu, knock it out, take it out, we're good. Everything's great. Heck yeah. So here comes the Decidueye, and here comes the part of the show where Pokemon is going to Pokemon, and it's something a little something. So I go for an Iron Head here. Iron Head flinches. Okay, so I'm going to go for an Iron Head again, because I'm Scarf. And Iron Head flinches. So at this point, this Decidueye gets flinched twice, and there's not much else that it can do. It was going to go for a Leaf Blade, but because it gets flinched twice, that's my notes falling on the floor, that Decidueye is just going to go down right there. So in comes Jellicent here, and this Jellicent does pose a bit of a problem for me, only a little bit, so I switch out. I'm going to go into my Keldeo, because I'm running Hidden Power Electric on this thing, which is good, and this Jellicent can't do much to me, outside of Scalding, Burning, and other general things, you know. I mean, it's Scald, Wisp, Recover, and something else, I believe. So I go for my Hidden Power Electric, and this Hidden Power Electric is going to do a pretty good amount to it, enough to where I can easily 2-HKO if needed. Excuse me. And so he's going to Wisp. Man, excuse me, as I expected, and I'm just gonna basically ride it out because leftovers and burns and whatever, and I know I can knock it out with another Hidden Power Electric, so that's exactly what I do here, and down goes the Jellicent. That was actually something I was really, really worried about in this fight, because Jellicent, most of my team's physical attackers, and I lost one of my special attackers, Kama-O, early on, so it is what it is. Sorry if you can hear the siren, by the way. So I switch out here, my Keldeo on his Sableye, and I go into my Terrakion here. I don't remember why I did this, actually. I think it was to get the out of specs, right? Because I don't need Terrakion anymore, because all that's left is a Gengar and a Mega Sableye. He goes for the Protect here. And at this point, what I can do is, with the Scarf Terrakion, I could threaten the flinches again, but I switch out and go back into Keldeo, just so that I can attack with stuff. And I already have a burn, so Will-O-Wisp isn't going to do much, so I can just fire up a Hydro Pump if I need to now, which is really, really good. He's going to go for the Protect here, and so we're going to play the Protect game now, where it's like, Protect is going to hit, and then so Hydro Pump is going to be protected, then Hydro Pump's going to miss, and then he's going to Protect again, and I mean, at this point, yeah. But luckily for me, Hydro Pump actually connects, but it doesn't quite knock it out. And he goes for the Recover, so, you know, we're going to play that game. And it's going to take a while still. You know, like how most stall goes. But honestly, so he goes for the Protect again. There's really not much I can say about this other than the fact that I do have this game under control, provided my Hydro Pump's hit. Because if this Hydro Pump misses, I'm choice locked, and then I really am in a tough spot because the only other mon I have is a Mega Gallade. And of course, my Hydro Pump misses right there, but he goes for the Foul Play, which is a good thing for me, because now it's like, if he recovered, things would have been way different, but because he went for Foul Play, I still can knock him out after a Protect with the Hydro Pump, if needed. Because, like, outside of him protecting, he's just getting the burn on me. He's not recovering HP, so that's really, really good for me, because now, assuming my Hydro Pump hits, which it does, thank God, I will be able to knock out the Sableye, which is really good, because I was really worried about that. But now, this Keldeo, it's done its job, it's going great. Gengar comes out, the last mon. All I gotta do is either hit this move or send in Terrakion if it misses, but Gengar does outspeed me, which is, I guess, to be expected. So Keldeo goes down, but that's not the end of the world because I do have my Scarf Terrakion that I can just send in and go for an Earthquake and have that be that, basically. So all I do is Earthquake, and this Gengar is going to go down. So that's going to be that. It was a pretty good game, I'd say. Finally got that emblem after a fight and a half or so. And yeah, good game. It was really fun. He's a pretty good battler, as I've said, and it's always great to have lots of fights. So yeah, good game. Alright, so this fight, not the champion fight, again. Oop, tricked ya. This is actually just a fight with a normal gym leader, Mark. He's from Overwatch, I believe, his character. He's using Steel Mons, and he picked my Dragon team, so if Gen 5's anything to go by, this will be an interesting fight, to be sure. So he's going to lead off with this Skarmory. Sorry a bit for the lag as well, it's unfortunate. And I'm going to lead with my Garchomp. Garchomp is mainly my lead on this team, just so that I can get up some rocks here, because the more rocks I can get up, the better it's going to be. Plus, a Ground Dragon against Steel is really, really good if we go, again, back to Gen 4 and Gen 5 with the meta. So we both get up our rocks, and it's pretty good. I actually have Fire Blast on this thing, so I just go right for a Fire Blast on the Skarmory here, and it's not going to do enough to knock it out, but it does do a really nice chunk, and it does burn the Skarmory by unfortunate circumstances. So he goes for the Whirlwind to zoom me out of there. And out comes my Altaria, whatever. I can't do, like, anything to this team with Mega Altaria, unfortunately. So I do switch out my Altaria and just go into my Dragalge. And this Dragalge can do a lot of stuff. Poison obviously isn't good against Steel, but I do, in fact, absorb the Toxic that he wants to go for. So that's really nice. And I am running, I believe, like a Hidden Power Fire or something. No, I go for my own Toxic Spikes, like a dumbass, because, of course, Toxic Spikes are definitely going to matter against a Steel team. Use your brain. Okay. So, Altaria is dragged out again, and at this point I'm like, okay, well, I can just Mega and I can just sort of click Return, because at this point I can win. Or I can beat it with Mega Altaria on a Earthquake, Return, whatever. So, basically, I go for a Roost just because, you know, recovering HP is good, and there's no downside to going for it. The Skarmory, as far as I know, doesn't have anything bad, and he just goes for a Toxic again, just to, like, stall me out, I guess. Fact of the matter is, if he doesn't, I mean, I am faster than him, so I don't get why he didn't Roost that turn. Maybe he wasn't running it. Maybe he was running Brave Bird as his last move. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is that if I wanted to, I could have knocked out that Skarmory last turn. So I just sent in my Dragalge again, obviously to get up more Toxic Spikes, because I'm definitely paying attention the whole time that this is happening. And he goes for a Whirlwind, and that actually sends in my Garchomp again, which is really, really nice for me, because now all I have to do is just, like, basically hit it with one random attack, and I'm set if I really need to. So I'll go for the Fire Blast, because obviously if there's one kind of kill, it's overkill, and that does knock out the Skarmory, so that's really, really good for me. So the next one he comes in is Biotic Field, which is his Aegislash, and I'm not super worried about Aegislash because I do have Earthquake, and I know that Earthquake, I don't have any contact moves, so I don't have to worry about the attack drop at all, and this Garchomp, if I'm remembering right, is leftover, or I can't remember what it is, but fact of the matter is that I can just click Earthquake and win. Like, it's very straightforward, and I didn't think that this was actually going to do as much as it did to this Aegislash, but it really did. So at this point now, it's just a matter of like, okay, he's going to go for a Gyro Ball here and do a pretty good amount to me, but it's not going to be enough to knock me out by any means. I mean, look at that. That did basically nothing. So my Rough Skin does in fact knock it out, along with my Rocky Helmet. It's Helmet Chomp. Forgot about this. So it's SD. No, it's not SD. It's Rocks plus 3 attacks, I think. Anyway, Lucario comes in, and his Tactical Visor. I'm just gonna click Earthquake. I mean, like, close combat, yeah, it'll do a bunch, but, like, I'm defensive and I have my Rocky helmet. So, and with his defense drops, I can easily, like, know for a fact that I'm definitely going to get the knockout on this thing with my Earthquake, especially after rocks and everything, too. And those Toxic Spikes, that definitely helped a lot. But, you know, so the car goes down, it's really good. Yeah, at this point, there's not much that really stands in my way. The Scissor comes out here, and I can just click Fire Blast, and as long as I don't miss, I don't have anything to worry about. And sure enough, bam, make that connection. I was half expecting him to go into Tran just to lure out the Fire Blast, but Tran can't do much to me either way. So in comes Dad76. I don't play Overwatch, so I don't really get the references much, but I think that's a character or something, or an affectionate name. Anyway, I just go for an Earthquake and knock this big boy out. I thought he was going to Mega, but he didn't. So the filter probably would have helped significantly, but whatever. So this last mod, Heatran's going to come out, and at this point it's kind of like, I didn't intend it for it to be that easy of a fight with him, but I guess that's just how it shook out, kind of. In the end, things turned out alright. Yeah. That's game. GG. So that was a good fight. I enjoyed it, but it was kind of underwhelming because Garchomp is a Pokemon that can win. So, yeah, no Dragonite. Good game.